One of these guys will win an award this year, as we have 6 great players, but you only have 5 guys out on the floor at the same time. So it's going to come down to who will be the guy coming off the bench between Lu Dort, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Alex Caruso. And that's something Thunder fans have been trying to figure out for a little bit. We may have gotten a glimpse into what the starting 5 will look like in the Houston Rockets preseason game when they came to town and we lost in overtime. When Alex Caruso and Lu Dort started and Isaiah Hartenstein was the first guy to come off the bench. So we might have gotten a little bit of a preview of what Coach Mark Daigneault has in plan. But it's not set in stone. I could see us playing around with a few lineups, including Lu Dort maybe sitting a little bit to see if he brings more value off the bench as a player compared to Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein. So it might be interesting to look at. We're going to kind of break that down here today. I saw an article that talked well about that as well, how it's almost certain one of our guys should win the award, whether that's Caruso, Hartenstein, or someone that we think should be in the starting lineup in Lu Dort, but could potentially see himself on the bench, which isn't necessarily a bad thing with how stacked this team is. So with that all out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get into the topic at hand. But before that, once again, just a quick moment to recognize that if you guys enjoy what we're doing here at Thunder Digest and you're wondering how to support the channel, the best way to do that is to hit that subscribe button. With that out of the way, now we can get into talking about who I think should be the guy coming off the bench. What should the starting 5 look like? All right, we can get into that. First, an article I found by Ivan White that kind of talks about this pretty well over at Sports Illustrated, with the Thunder's big 3 of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren making up 60% of the starting lineup. There are only 2 spots remaining for 3 deserving candidates. Lu Dort is a likely starter, but not guaranteed to keep that spot. Keep that in mind. He is a likely starter. I see him starting for sure the first 10 games of the year. But if Hartenstein and Alex Caruso are playing very well, you could see one of them take Lu Dort's starting spot that he's had with the Thunder for quite some time now. Especially if Caruso and Hartenstein show their value early in the season, with a high-level starter set to be squeezed out of the starting 5. Oklahoma City should have one of the top candidates for 6th man of the year. After finishing first in the West last season, the Thunder are projected to take home the conference's top seed again and perhaps compete for the league's best record. That bodes well for a Thunder player to potentially bring home I'm not going to pronounce it. I know who it is. Don't worry, guys. Don't call me casual. I'm having trouble with words today. Trophy, as the past 5 winners have been on the top 3 seeds. Last season, Naz Reid won the award while averaging 13.5 points per game, the lowest scoring average for a winner since Aaron McKee in 2000-2001. Go ahead and go into the second part of the article. Typically, the 6th man of the year averages between 15 and 20 points, while the Thunder's 3 potential candidates could near that mark. Finding enough shots to get there could be an issue. The Thunder's depth doesn't end at the 6th man, with Mark Daigneault easily able to play 10-plus players without a problem on any given night. The Thunder also seem interested in increasing the usage of Williams and Holmgren, with either one of those 2 or Gilgeous-Alexander likely on the floor at any given time. The Thunder 6th man won't exactly be leading the second unit's attack. Still, 60 wins could be within reach for the Thunder, and with 6 starting caliber players, they are likely to have someone in the mix for 6th man of the year. So it would be in the mix. I think, realistically, one of the Thunder guys should end up being the favorites for the award, as I forgot to kind of turn off that video at the beginning. But I think one of them for sure, should be in the running, should try to win it. Whether that's Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein, or even Lu Dort. Now, I want to get into Lu Dort before I talk about the other 2. I think Lu Dort's a for sure starter. I think we know who our 4 starters are going to be for sure. And Lu Dort, Shai, Dub, and Chet. I think those 4 guys are going to be on the starting 5 for the whole season. God forbid injuries happen. If injuries do happen, then of course they would be sitting out when they're injured. So I think those 4 guys are for sure you're starting in your starting 5. It just comes down to Caruso or Hartenstein. The reason I think Dort will not come off the bench at all is looking how he plays. He sets the tone for how we're going to play defensively. He sets that tone. If he realizes that we need to be really physical with the team early on, he will set that tone and pace so everyone else can get on board with it. If he realizes you need to be a little bit relaxed and really guarding shots, everyone else will be with that. You need him to set that pace. You need him to set that mentality, what the team's going to be looking like defensively. Are we going to be in passing lanes? Are we going to be up front on ball handlers every single time, not give them any breathing room? Are you going to back off a little bit because we know they can't shoot that night? It really depends, all right? And Lu Dort will set that tone. Coming off the bench, he can't do that. And honestly, he fouls a decent amount. So I think it's better to have him come off the bench, or not off the bench, be a starter. And we have like a guy like Alex Caruso, even Aaron Wiggins, Cason Wallace coming off the bench to help him out if he does get in foul trouble. So I think just personally, looking at how Lu Dort plays, he brings more value as a starter, so I'm just going to go ahead and take him out of the equation. But now that leaves us with Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein. Now those two guys, who would be that last starter and who would be that guy that'd be in the running for Sixth Man of the Year? I think the first 10 to 15 games, you're going to see a mix of Alex Caruso starting and then Isaiah Hartenstein starting. You're going to see a mix until Mark Daigneault figures out, okay, this is the starting five we want to run with. It could also be one of those things where it's a constantly new lineup every single team that we play against based off of matchups, because this is a matchup-based league. You know, there are teams that may not seem all that good on paper, but they'll win a game that night just because they have the better matchup on paper. So Mark Daigneault will definitely be looking into that. But at the end of the day, you need a for sure guy who's like, yeah, this is the guy we want starting, no matter what. And it now unfortunately comes down between Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein. We can't play all six of them. Only five of them can be on the court at the same time. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into the analysis. All right, first guy up, Alex Caruso. We know this guy. We know both of them. All right, cover them a good amount. This is just a refresher on their stats and giving you basically who would you prefer to have. This is all it is. Who would you prefer to have? He scored 10 points a game last year, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, block and steal a game, along with almost 2 steals a game, less than 2 turnovers, 2.5 fouls a game, shot 47% from the field and 41% from behind the three-point line, 6'5", older guy, so that might be nice to have coming off the bench. That could be the thing, like having that older guy off the bench, or not bench, in that starting unit, okay, maybe that'd be nice. 40% on corner threes, he shoots the three ball really well, all right? So the things that separates him, he's an older guy, so that mentality might be able to help out the starters a little bit, and he shoots the three ball well. Because I'm not looking into his defensive stats per game, because now when we go into Isaiah Hartenstein, you realize the defensive stats are very similar, averaging a block a game and averaging a steal a game as well, with under 2 turnovers. 8 points a game, but what separates him, 8 boards a game, 64% from the field. And yes, he did shoot 33% from beyond the three-point line last year. Didn't really take a lot of shots. However, it seems as though Mark Daigneault and everyone want him to take more three-pointers. They've been stressing to him, if you're open, take that shot. We know you can hit it. You have the green light. And so that may also give him a little edge over Caruso. 7 foot tall, 26 years old. He's about to enter the prime of his career. If not, he's entering it right now. And then his defensive box plus minus is 2.8. So he's a great defensive player and could definitely help out Chet down low in the paint. Now it just comes down to personal preference. Here are Isaiah Hartenstein's stats right here. This is what he excels in. Rebounding. All right. He excels at rebounding. And that's really the big thing he does. He shoots the ball well on the floor when he is there, 64%. From the field, and defensively, he is very, very sound, and he's not a bad offensive player. He really isn't. I can go into that in another time, actually writing an article over that right now. Then Alex Caruso, all right? Yes, he's averaging 10 points a game, all right? What separates him is he is willing to shoot the three ball a ton. He shot it a good amount last year. 61% of all his shots were three-pointers last year, 41% from beyond the three-point line, so he has his three-point shot going for him and his points per game going for him, and he's averaging less than 2 turnovers. All right, so the big 2 things with Alex Caruso, his age, help out the experience on the floor for the starters and anyone else there, along with his three-point percentage. Now, this is where it comes into personal preference for me. This is my personal opinion. I think Isaiah Hartenstein should start. That's just my opinion, all right? I think this helps us out a ton because it moves Dub back down to his natural position at the 3, all right? I don't think Dub should ever play the 4. I say that. Maybe you give him like 5-6 minutes where he's guarding another 4 in a game, but realistically, he should be playing the 3 majority of the time, all right? Playing against other 3s as well. It helps him out matchup-wise, and that's what it's all about, the matchups. And Isaiah Hartenstein on the floor gives us better matchups overall, especially with Chet and with Isaiah Hartenstein when we have to go against bulkier centers, like what happened with Dallas with Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford. Isaiah Hartenstein would fare very well against those guys. Karl-Anthony Towns, he'd fare well against him as well. Rudy Gobert, those type of guys, it helps us out a ton, all right? I still think for a little bit we're going to see different lineups going out there, but that's probably for like 2 teams out of each conference, realistically. So I think Isaiah Hartenstein should be that last starter and Alex Caruso coming off the bench, and that would win him Sixth Man of the Year. I truly think so. I think Caruso coming off the bench, getting like 25, 26 minutes a game, I think he averages like 10 points again. All right, average anywhere from 10 to 13 points, and he get a steal or block a game as well, shooting the ball very well. And this Thunder team, if they finish as a 1 seed with 60-plus wins, no reason he can't win the award. The same can go for Isaiah Hartenstein, though. If Isaiah Hartenstein's coming off the bench majority of the year, he's our 6th man, and he's in the running. I think if those things are the same, stay true for him, averaging 10 to 13 points a game off the bench, along with a block and steal a game, and we win 60-plus games, he should be in the finalists for 6th Man of the Year. It just truly depends on what Mark Daigneault prefers. I just prefer Isaiah Hartenstein starting because I think that gives us better matchups, but everyone else is entitled to their own opinions, and that's really all I got for this video as it's going very long now. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys personally think. Do you want Caruso starting? Do you want Hartenstein starting? Or, like I mentioned, do you want them both starting and Lou Dort coming off the bench? Or curveball here, none of them. Throw in a guy like Wiggs or Joe in that starting lineup. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next video.